Dear ambassadors, let me introduce you to one classroom from Slovakia. There are two talented people, and because the teachers saw they are talented and they are interested in science, she recommended to them to do science competitions. This is a really great system on Slovakia, how Slovakia can identify the talent, and because we have 50 years of experience with these competitions, Slovakia is rocking it, and we have always winners. So these two children did these competitions as well. And because they were together, they fostered each other, and they kind of friendly fight one with other. Let me say to you what happened with them next. The first story is my story, and I will tell you what happened. Because I wanted to do something practical, I wanted to do science, not only to read about science, I wanted to do experiment. And when I finally find out there are science competitions for high schoolers, and I can do science without a degree, and I don't have to be an old woman in a white coat, I said, yes, this is what I want to do. I was 14 at that stage, and I wrote a few emails to laboratories. But guess what happened? Nobody wanted me in the laboratory. So the only way how could I do research was to make my own laboratory at home, in the basement of my parents' house. That's why it was plant physiology, because you can't do any other research at home. But I had quite interesting idea that maybe in the same way as medicaments work differently in children and in adults, maybe in the same way some elements can work differently in small and older plants. So I did the experiments, and I found out that it's working differently, and that was pretty innovative. And thanks to that, I won several international competitions, which was a way how society tell me, okay, you're not doing something weird, but something really good. And it was a great stimulus for me, and also I found the friends which also did science at my age, and also get in touch with senior scientists. And thanks to that, I was finally able to do the research in the area I always wanted to, in oncology. So when I was 16, I started to work on an experiment where I found out how aspirin is working on malignant melanoma, a very dangerous type of skin cancer. And I found out that it actually can help in the treatment of malignant melanoma. Thanks to these results, one assistant professor asked me if I don't want to work with him on one project, which is in the cooperation with foreign institution. So, of course, I said yes. And that's how I ended up as a 19-year-old girl doing research at the Mayo Clinic, one of the best research clinics on the world. And now I'm 21, I'm studying medicine, and in the same time, in my free time, I'm trying to establish my own research, but it's quite tricky. And I'm also a lecturer, and I'm doing a review of medical publications. Now I will tell you the second story. Let's go straight to today, both with me, my classmate. He's on the street, and he's on drugs. How is it possible? We were both very good at 7th grade. We were very intelligent and fast learners and bored at school. That was what we had very similar, but there were differences. I had a very caring family, which kind of helped me on my way. And I built a network of friends with the same interest thanks to these competitions, which is very important for teenagers. And there was one big difference. I created opportunities for myself, thanks to kind of entrepreneurship, but he wasn't able to do it. But maybe if there would be a pathway how he can do science, how he can prove his talent, not in the theoretical way, but in the practical way, maybe it will be different. But even if we would go through elementary school, if we would save these talents at the elementary stage, there are other challenges for young scientists. This is Annette. She's 17 years old and she's doing research. She's pretty good. And She has an idea of new way how to deal with the cancer. Also, the professor she is working with thinks it's a very nice idea and worth trying. But the professor doesn't have free money to kind of test just different idea. The money are on his project. And there is no funding for these options. So we lose this idea. And in 1 year, Annette is going to the university. There will be no any more science fairs, but at the same time, she won't be recognized as a real researcher. This way, we are losing a lot of talents because they lose the options. Here is Adam. He's finishing his PhD. And after 4 years of hard research in the laboratory and without any social security, his pathway doesn't look very good at all. He needs to find a postdoc position, which usually means to do a transfer. And postdoc positions are only temporary, for 1, 3, or 5 years. Then he needs to switch again. And because he's before his 30th birthday, he would like to start a family, to have a normal life. This way he can do it. If there will be a proper pathway or some way how to finance him based on his previous research, this way he could be a normal scientist and a normal person in the same time. Here is Susan. She's postdoc and she's also a mother of a young child. And she has problems as well. Because postdoc positions are only temporary, it's not easy to do the same position as the postdoc and also be on the parental leave at the same time. If she could split this position with another person, they could both do the research and also be parents. Also, to be a good researcher, you need to go to the conferences, and at that time, she needs to find a childcare. If there would be institutional childcare, she could be also a better researcher. There is a great gender imbalance in research, and the results showed that it's mostly because when a mother starts to have a family, she needs to focus more on the family. We need to focus more on helping young mothers and young parents in general, so we won't lose young, bright women scientists. And here is Peter and Annette. They are in their late 30s, which says like they are old, but they are still young researchers. Why? Because they still don't have permanent positions. And they need to find a new position every few years for both of them. 1/3 of researcher is married to other researcher. So dual career problems is a big issue. And Annette had to change her laboratory 3 times. She had to find 3 times money for the same laboratory, to establish the same laboratory, because she just can't move it. So Peter finally decided to move to the industry so he can have actually a better job security. But it has a different issue. If he would like to do more basic research afterwards, to go back to the academia, he would like publications. And without publications, you really can't get the funding. These are the issues we identified as the group of young researchers from Europe writing a Bratislava Declaration of Young Researchers. It's an agenda of Slovak presidency, and I'm very thankful for that. And with the help of the European Commission, we, the young researchers, could wrote our challenges and aspirations and present them at the Informal Council of Ministers in July. Our document will be also an annex to Council conclusions, and we are speaking with the policymakers now to do more for young researchers in the next framework program. I think it is not a coincidence that Slovakia chose talent as their agenda, and I'm very happy for it and proud. We have a great system how to identify the young talents and work with them at the elementary stage. But we lose a lot of talents afterwards. And this is a big problem for Europe. If I would do business, nobody will ask how old I am. All the people would ask how good I am. If there would be good opportunities, we won't lose the people. We need the best minds for science. So I hope this idea and this agenda will lead to one goal, to not lose talents.